So to start off with, just introduce yourself, kind of where you're from and how you got started in the harvesting business.
Well, my name's Dutton. I live in Central Texas, a little town called Early. I got started in the harvesting business. Actually, when I was 7 years old, that's when I made my first harvest, 1957. And just kind of went on from there, working with my family. Went through high school. When I graduated from high school, I bought my first combine, 1966. And I was fortunate enough to be able to come back home in the fall. My stepdad took care of my combine. I was able to go to college and get a degree, and it just has snowballed from there.
So then after college, you decided to come back?
Yes, I mean, I never left the harvesting.
Okay, you still went?
I still went in the summer and as long as I could in the fall until school started.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then after college, though, were you kind of full-time then?
I was full-time. I had to make a decision of whether I wanted to go do something that I really didn't know what I wanted to do because I only knew to do what I was doing. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So that kind of helped you make your decision?
Yes, it did.
So how long then, how many years would have that been that you were going harvesting?
Well, I went on my first harvest in 57 and bought my first combine in 66.
Okay, so.
And I just finished my 53rd harvest.
Wow.
Of owning a combine.
Yeah.
63 harvesting.
They let you drive them before that? Before you owned it?
Did they let me what?
Did they let you drive before you owned it? Owned the combine growing up? How early?
Oh yeah,
When you were
I
7?
was running the combine full time when I was 13 years old.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So where does your harvest season normally start, and kind of what is the path that you travel?
Well, back in the early days, we started in Central Texas and came up through the Panhandle. That was, back in those days, that was the days that you could actually make several stops through the harvest versus 2 or 3 now, or 4,
Yeah.
you know, because of how everything's changed. But we would go to, when we left Texas, we would go to Kansas, then sometimes over to Colorado, and then on to North Dakota.
Okay.
And we did that for 22 years in
wow.
North Dakota, and things changed a little, and we were able to pretty well stay within the state of Texas, starting about 78. We did continue to go to Colorado for a few years up until about 2000.
Okay.
But now then, I pretty much just stay in the state harvesting.
Of Texas. Okay. Kind of mainly wheat then.
Wheat,
and then
corn and milo.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do
And a few beans, and just, I guess, whatever they say, will you come cut it? I'll tell them we can do it.
Yeah. So talk about the change. Like you said, we can't make as many stops. What is that? Is that driven by? What is that change?
That was driven, to me, it was driven by varieties of wheat.
Okay.
They kept changing the varieties, and they went to hybrids, and they just all got ready at the same time.
Huh.
Seemed like. Because we could be cutting in the Panhandle, in Spearman, which is just north of Amarillo here, and the crops would start getting ready in Colorado, Kansas, and they would even start getting ready in South Dakota. So that's a pretty big span.
Yeah. To try.
And granted, it wasn't all ready at one time, but the cutters were moving on as the wheat ripened.
Yeah, change in variety. Does the change in weather, has there been a change in weather that has caused that, or is it more?
Weather's always been weather.
Yeah.
You know, we've had drought and we've had wet times, and to go put a pinpoint on, you know, did the weather affect all of this and that? Weather affects everything, even us,
Yeah.
as people, tremendously.
Yeah.
So,
Did you ever, so you never went to Canada
no.
at all? Okay. What, do you have any like fond memories of the stops that you did go to, even like growing up, or?
Of the places?
Yeah, the places,
Oh,
the
Lord,
harvest
yes,
stops.
yes, absolutely.
Any that you can think of?
A lot of fond memories as far as, well, I guess I really don't want to tell everything, you know. But
You can pick one.
The people, of course, as I was a young man, you know, of course, it was a job. We did our work, but then as the machinery became mine and I became responsible for it, then things changed to go to meeting people a little bit better and doing a little PR work,
Yeah.
so to speak. And but the memories that I have of harvest and will continue to have is the people that I met and the friends that I made through the years. And I really, you know, as we quit going into North Dakota, time takes its toll, and you're not able to continue a relationship with these people, and they kind of drop off, but you still never forget them. So.
Is there something different about the people that you meet, like on the harvest trail, or even like other custom harvesters in comparison to? I don't know. I always think it helps. They know what you do, and
Oh yeah,
you can relate.
meeting other harvesters has been, it's been great. This organization has pulled a lot of people together that weren't together. Have the harvesters changed? Only with the times. Only, you know, the generations change.
Yeah.
I guess I should say.
you kind of see that.
But the harvesters, the equipment, of course, has changed, but it's all been good change.
Yeah. So kind of to go along with that, how have you seen the machinery change from when you started to now?
Well, I've got a picture on my phone.
Yeah.
That's got a 1958 45 John Deere with a 10-foot header on it.
10 foot.
And it's sitting next to a 9770 with just the duals hanging on the front of the combine. And it dwarfs it. It's funny. And the change has been astronomical. And I think in the next 50 years, I don't even know that you'll touch the ground when you harvest a crop.
Wow. Yeah.
Because it has come a long, long ways.
Did you expect that at all, or did you think about like what it would be like? You know, the change in that, or
No, I was just a young man, and all we did was work, and we worked hard, and whatever came along, we just went right along with it, you know.
Yeah.
Now, my stepdad that put me in the business, or that, of course, I got into the business with him. He was from the old times. He'd been through some tough times. And I could sit here probably for 3 hours and tell you stories about his harvesting experience. And that's like in 48 and 49 and the early 50s. But he was hard to change. He was from the old times when times were really hard, and he didn't want to spend money.
Yeah.
He had a tendency not to want to upgrade, so to speak. Progress, yes. But I finally got old enough and finally pushed it on him to go with me on some things. Most things were pretty good.
Yeah,
They
it turned
worked
out
pretty
okay.
well, yes.
How many machines did you start with, or how many do you run now?
Okay, I started with one myself.
Yeah,
We
the
had-
one you bought.
Which we had 3 together. No, we had 4 together to start with. And, I have run up to 4 through the years, off and on, and I only have 2 now.
Okay. What was I think kind of the changes in cost of machinery? What was the approximate cost of your first machine? And then what do you think, like how much has it changed until now?
Well, the one I remember the most was in 1969. I bought a new John Deere 105 combine. I gave $13,175 for it.
Wow.
And that was in 69. And the first one was a 66 model, and it was a 55, and I honestly don't remember what it brought, or what it cost. So now then, you take that and you go to the machines nowadays that are, I guess it depends on how you order them,
Yeah.
how much they cost, but a combine, a new combine, and that was with a header, that 13.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, the header came with them then. But nowadays you buy a separator and however many headers you think you need, and, you're talking, if we're talking brand new today, we're talking $500,000 easy for one combine and 2 headers.
And yeah.
So that's, in 50 years, that's quite a change.
It is, yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree. Huge change.
The price of combining from 1966, or when I remember in the mid-50s or late 50s and early 60s, we were getting $3 an acre for combining, and then chump change for hauling. And now then, we get up there and I guess it depends on where people at. I hear some real horror stories of some crops being cut for $18, $19 an acre, but most people are in the $22 to $24 an acre on wheat, and I'm speaking of wheat.
Right.
And you can price a lot of different crops.
Right. Yeah.
But that's not near the increase
Yeah, in comparison.
And wheat has not progressed as it should have over the years, because wheat was bringing $3 back then, so.
And it's still, relatively the same.
Yep.
What are ways that, help you make it besides just the change, or the price? How do you change with that?
Well, needless to say, the combines got larger and they could do more work. So you could offset some of that through a volume, so to speak, a volume. Instead of cutting 40 acres a day, you were cutting with one combine, or maybe 50, and where you can go cut 150, 200 acres a day, of course, depending on the crop and how heavy it is and whatever, but that's the only way that you were able to do it. And we watched our P's and Q's pretty close.
I bet.
And I'm still a penny pincher.
I like that. Can you talk about how, what has changed in how you get your equipment down the road from kind of when you first hauled your first machine? And
Well, my dad had combine trailers made in 1951, and he was hauling his combines on trailers in 1951.
He was, okay.
Yes, yes. And of course, you know, where that equipment has gone, where the trucks and the trailers have gone to where we're at today. Now, 15 years ago, we were running bobtail, tandem bobtail trucks.
Yep.
We would load our headers in the back of the trucks.
Yep.
Load our combines on the trailers, tie them down, and get everything together and take off. And you go drive 200, 400 miles, and by dark, you're unloaded, put together, and you're in the field cutting. We don't do that now.
Yeah.
Because we make so many trips because we have so much stuff to service all of this larger equipment.
Yeah. Like you got to double back to get your.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's so much larger now.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Do you have a moving day routine? Do you try to get going early, or it kind of depends?
In today's time, I get ready when I get ready.
Yeah, I like that.
But yes, you know, in the earlier days and going up, we would try to be out, not at the crack of dawn, but we would be out and going actually a lot earlier than what we do now. But times change. Sometimes it's hard to get all these guys up and going, but I have no set time in answer to your question, no.
Yeah.
It may be, we try to get out of town by 8 o'clock. Of course, we've got to get fuel and so on and so forth. But my thoughts are nowadays, if we can get running in a good summer, on dry type weather, if you can get running by 9:30 or 10 o'clock in the mornings, which is a pretty good feat to do if you've got the service and get everything ready. But we don't run late. I don't run late anymore. When the sun starts going down in the summertime, it's 9:30 and I'm looking for a place to get combines parked.
Yeah.
And put up for the night, unless we've got a cloud coming up, or unless we only like a small amount getting done with the field or something. But now, don't misunderstand me, we have done some of that 1, 2 o'clock in the morning stuff, but that was back in the good old days.
The good old days, huh?
The good old days.
So how many, do you hire employees, or how many do you hire?
I have hired from 7 to, and now I'm down to, I hire all of my employees that I get are from South Africa.
Oh, okay.
H2A.
Okay.
I started hiring H2A workers in 1995. That's when I started getting them. And back then, I was hiring 5 to 7 employees, and I still was able to get a few Americans. But as time gone on, the different places I work, I have some local help that I can always depend on, and that's the reason. And I only get 2 boys now.
Okay.
Because I can fill in with other people
around
wherever I'm at. So, but somebody has to be there to help me do the heavy work. I do the thinking for them.
Well, that's the hard part. That's the hard part. Have you noticed a change in like just the different types of people that you've hired from when you first started to now?
Yeah.
Is there a change in
Yeah, especially in America. Before we went to the foreign workers. Yeah, you had people back in the 60s and 70s even, and even the 80s that wanted to work. Most did, some didn't. But they, now as time's gone on, yeah, you can see a lot of difference. Because we can't get the people that's actually been out in the rural areas.
Yeah.
I guess, not necessarily from a farming background, but just been out in the rural areas that, that has seen work, whether it be farm work or whatever, you know. And our kids nowadays don't see this.
Yeah. No.
And it's affecting America, it's affecting our way of life as far as hiring people, but even the people we get from the other countries, 90% of those, they come to work.
Okay.
A lot of the boys that come over, they've got families, and they're coming over to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get those, they really work good, because they're making that money to send home.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there's been a dramatic change in health over a 50-year period.
Yeah. Yeah, it's less of an adventure now, or of appealing adventure to some kids now than maybe before. What are your living arrangements on the road? Do you have trailers that you stay in?
Yes, trailers.
Has that changed a little?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just a little or a lot?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it's changed a lot. I mean, we have to make these guys comfortable. You try to make these boys as comfortable as you would want to make yourself.
Yeah.
And granted, the majority of us are spending big money for bunkhouses that have ample room and washers and dryers and satellite TV and everything, and there was none of that stuff, because I can remember back in the early days, if we had TV, we carried a 1-inch piece of pipe with us, and we clamped it on to the hitch of the trailer house and run us an antenna up and just prayed that you could get one channel.
And it had something you liked on it.
Yes. But sometimes it didn't matter. Now then, we've got all the whistles and bells, and that doesn't seem to matter, but if you didn't have it, you wouldn't have any help, so
Yeah.
you just gotta go. But the living quarters have changed, yes, very dramatically.
What did you used to do on a rainy day? Nowadays they just watch TV, like you said, but did you do anything that you?
On rainy days,
Yeah.
when we used to go north and we get rained out and we weren't close to home, we did what everybody else did. We polished the paint off of the trucks.
I understand that one. You still had to work.
Yeah, you still had to work a little bit, but yeah.
Does your family go with you at all? Do you have family that
My
goes
family went with me for I've had two families, okay? 12 years, and then my present wife went for 25 years.
Okay.
And then things got bad enough with the insurance. She stayed at home and got a job with the prison system down there, just so we could afford insurance.
Yeah.
So yes, my family did go for off and on for years. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, they could. Let's see here. So, what would you say is the biggest pressure that you might or have faced during your harvest season? A harvest season, or maybe a pressure over your harvest career?
I would have to say that it had been the lack of, really don't know how I want to put this, not being able to be completely around my family
Okay.
all the time.
Yeah.
It drew me, harvesting drew me away from not only some of my immediate family, but I'm talking about from home. You lose a lot of, you lose a lot of contact. Of course, you get it back when you get home, but we used to be gone 6 to nearly 7 months out of the year, which we aren't anymore. So what I'm telling you now is what this has done to me, because I've been in the business for so long. But I have seen many trials and tribulations, I can tell you that, through the years. If I could have written a book or a half a dozen books on the harvest, we wouldn't be sitting here today. We'd all be off and blah, land. Because it would have been a bestseller. But I will have to say, harvest, I wouldn't, if I could do it again, I wouldn't change nothing.
Really?
I would change some things with my family. I would do that. As far as the business, no.
What makes you say you would choose it again? Like if you could choose, you would choose harvest.
Yeah, I would, because it has been, yeah, it's had its problems, but all in all, it's been a blessing. It made me a stronger person. It can make you a goofy person sometimes, but it's been very good. But yeah, I think if we could all look back in life, there would be some things we could change. But the basic part of my life, of my harvesting, no, I would not change it. And I still have, I don't do a lot of harvesting. I stay in state, so it's kind of like what I like to do, and I get to work for the people I want to work for, not the people that want to just hammer on you and be ugly to you. And I work for good people. Yeah. And they're really not. They're not clients. They're family. They're just about all family to me. I've got people in Waco that I have watched 4 kids grow up from 3 to 4 years old to newborn babies, that I've watched them all get married. Wow. So, that's a bond that you make with people, and some people you can't make a bond with. But when you're around people long enough and you have a good relationship, it makes it easier. It makes it real easy to work. And it makes it fun. It makes it to look forward to going. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's encouraging to hear, that you would choose, if you had the choice, you would choose to go again because of the people that you get to work with, and the friendships, and they become like family to you. Yes, they do. That doesn't always happen. But they don't always send me a Christmas present. Oh. Huh. Well, we're going to have to talk to them about that. What was something that maybe someone taught you, like maybe your stepdad, or that changed how you do things, or maybe how you think about things in your business or in your custom harvesting operation? Is there anything that maybe... He taught me, my stepdad, and sometimes I thought that it was all wrong. It didn't seem right. Because when I was growing up and I was in high school, and especially in the springtime, and it starts getting warm, and all your buddies are going to the lake, or they're going to do this, well, I got to go to the shop and work. And for a long time, and it took me a long time to realize this, but that man taught me how to work. And he taught me the values of life. And at the time, you were a little resentful maybe because you didn't get to go play with your buddies. But he taught me how to work, he taught me how to make a living, and he taught me how to be honest. He was a very honest man. And when he told you something, that's what he was going to do. And so, yeah, it's... he just taught me a good lesson in life. And I did a lot of things I didn't want to have to do, but now I understand. And then now I can't understand why I can't get people to do what I want them to do. but when they're not your own, well, sometimes you don't have that choice. Yeah, no, for sure. Let's see.
What was it? What you expected it would be like when you first started out? Did you think about what your operation would look like 10, 15, or did you kind of
You know, I
just,
never gave it any thought.
just
I really didn't. Now, as time went on, as I got older, started getting my own machinery, then I began to get this idea in my mind, now this is what I want. I want this stuff to match up and everything, and I wanted everything to look nice and everything, and it did. And then you get a point in your life where you kind of peek over that hill, and all of a sudden you're not so concerned about that. You're concerned about other things, that everything doesn't have to look right and be perfect, and so yeah, and that's past my time.
did you kind of just take it 1 year at a time? You know, in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to, because you look too far forward down the line, and you get 2 seasons in a row like what we dealt with last year, the drought, especially here in Texas. Yeah, you can be looking behind you pretty quick, wondering when the bill collectors are going to show up with a big gun.
Let's see. We kind of touched on this, but the rewards of this business can be great. The risks are also great. What are some of the rewards that you've experienced just being able to be in this industry? And
Oh, I don't know. I think you're right. We touched on it. One of the biggest rewards has been the friendships. But just, I guess it's rewarding to know that I can go up and down the road and have learned something in the times that I was going up and down the road with all the problems we have.
yeah,
Because when I decide I want to go 200 miles on a weekend type deal or something, I know that if I break down, I know how to get it fixed. I may not can fix it, but at least I learned a lot. You learn a lot in this business of how to survive.
yeah,
Not just only in harvest time, and just in daily life. So that, and I know that's kind of penny ante, but there's so many people that get out on the highway and they don't know what to do when something happens.
I think you are your own community out there, and you are what each other has, so you kind of learn how to figure it out.
Yep, you do.
On your own. And do you have a crazy harvest story?
Pardon me?
Do you have any crazy harvest stories, or most embarrassing? Anything wild? There's always interesting
My
things.
goodness, I was such a good young man.
Oh yeah.
I can't even think about that. I don't know. I've really never given it any thought.
That's okay.
Oh, there's been plenty of embarrassing stories.
I'm sure.
Yeah, especially when you happen to just get done chewing a hired man out for something that he did, and the next day you go do it yourself or worse. Then you have to go to eating a little crow, and that's one thing the guys like. They like it when the boss messes up.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
Yeah.
They get stuck the day before, and then you go get it stuck, or
Right.
machine
Yes,
stuck.
and I have a sign in my bunkhouse that says company rules, and I'm sure you've heard them. It says, the boss is always right. If the boss is wrong, see rule number 1.
I like that. I guess in closing, we'll ask one more question. What year did you join the U.S. Custom Harvester Organization?
I joined in November of 1983.
Okay, from the beginning. What have you gained by being a member? There
Oh,
can list a few things.
a lifetime of fun.
Yeah.
A lifetime of meeting more people. And this organization has just been unbelievable to how it's brought people together. I mean, in the yesteryears, we didn't get together and buddy up
Yeah.
and slap each other on the back. We might have been wanting to punch somebody in the nose, you know, but no, it's been great. This has been the best thing that ever happened to custom harvesters. And the people that do not belong to it, they're missing out if they don't even come. If they don't even participate, they're missing out. Because these people are doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And so I just, it's a great organization.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's cool, and I watch you guys, like, most people from the outside would look in and think, well, why are they talking to each other? They should be competitors,
Yeah,
but
they're
you guys
enemies,
are,
but we're not.
yeah,
Yeah.
you work together to,
Oh, yeah.
when it's go
A
time.
lot of jobs have been passed around over the years as this organization came together. So,
Yeah. Well, that's all I have. If you have something else.
I don't know, you about talked me to death.
Have I?
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to thank you for allowing me and everyone else to get to know you, and just kind of wanted to thank you again for
Well,
sitting here.
I want to thank you too, and thank you for putting up with me.
Oh, no, you're easy. But yeah, no, thank you for your investment that you've made to the industry and to this organization. So
It was fun when I was on the board. This organization gave me an opportunity to go places that I would have never gone before, and to see things. I mean, the places we went, and well, especially, of course, you're too young, but you know, when we had the 2 meetings a year, oh wow, that was really cool.
yeah,
But it did get to be a headache, a very hardship on people that were putting it on and everything.
yeah,
But yes, oh gosh, you know, when I was vice president and president, wow, it was just fantastic. It was fun, but don't misunderstand me.
oh yeah,
It was, I was glad when it was over,
it was a lot of work.
and I never wanted to do it again.
Well, thank you, Danny.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.